This is the Chad and Jesse Poker Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the Chad and Jesse Poker Show. Is this number 7 now, Jesse?
What do you think it is?
I think it's 7, but I'm starting to, number 7.
No, it's number 7.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the magic number for what I've been told with shows and podcasts is a lot of people struggle to get to number 7. And if you can get there and get beyond it, your show could have some legs.
Who told you that?
I read it in an article.
Bullshit.
I don't know, some news
you're making
or something.
He's not making
but that's actually true because I looked into it when we were doing the PokerNews podcast.
So I heard 6 was the number.
Well, whatever the case, 7 is pretty good. And this is going to be a pretty good episode because we got 2 big guests in Andrew Neeme and Brad Owen, WPT ambassadors, 2 guys that we really love.
Yeah, they're great. They're big. They're huge. They're WPT guys. They're awesome. Global Poker, you guys, we've talked, the great Turbo Series just wrapped up over the weekend. Up next is the GOAT Championship Series, but not till July. So you got a little time. So what I suggest is if it's your first time ever, check out Global Poker. We have a code to sign up with PokerNews. Gives you some extra little gifts from Chad and I and our pals over at Global Poker. Check it out. It's free to play, social poker site, lots of fun. I'm on there. Chad's on there. globalpoker.com. Check it out.
Jesse, I'm very excited. We got a lot of big topics to talk about in this week's Calling the Clock. The board this week is just chock full of big things. I guess let's not waste any time, right? Let's jump right into it.
Let's go ahead and put that little clock on the screen. Let's go ahead and set it for 2 minutes. And let's get going. Jason Koon, we saw him last week.
He was a great guest.
Holy crap, yes.
It was awesome to see him go straight from our show, jump into the $250,000 super high roller that we just talked about.
Make day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then get a little phone call from the wifey saying, hey, get your ass home right now. I have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, because if you remember our interview with him, they were expecting a child.
I hope my whisper got I don't know. I've never whispered before in here.
I think it probably did.
Okay.
But that baby was on the way. And so Jason Koon went to WSOP officials and said, hey, I'm not going to be making it. I want to be there for the birth of my child with my wife. Can we do something here? Because it's a $250,000 buy-in, right? Mm-hmm. And so in this case, the tournament director used his discretion, in which he has the power to do, and said, you know what? We're going to void your entry. We're going to take your chips out of play, and we're going to refund you the $250,000. Now, this was quite a polarizing decision in the poker world on social media. A lot of people saying, well, what the hell? Once the chips are in play or what have you. Others saying, great job by the WSOP on and recognizing a special situation and making an exception, if you will. I think it's not as bad as a lot of people like to portray. I think that, he's above chips. Registration was still open. It was still open into day 2. And so kind of no harm, no foul. I don't think he had busted anybody in the tournament. And I think the WSOP took the totality of it all and said, you know what? He's sacrificing his equity. He actually has more than the starting stack. He's a good player. We don't see a problem here, and I don't think the other players really would have seen a problem either.
Do we know if he had the baby?
I don't know for sure.
I checked social media. I mean,
he's pretty private. He even said on our interview, he really doesn't do much social media. And I didn't want to contact him, so fresh. I think it's probably safe to say that he did.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. Like I said, to go from talking with us here in the studio to 24 hours later, likely, having the birth of his second child.
Yeah, it was exciting to see him here and to hear his thoughts on the whole thing. And so wish you luck, Jason. Wish everybody at home happy, healthy, all good. All right, Chris Brewer. Let's talk about this 250K more. Chris Brewer wins his first bracelet and $5 million. How sick.
Yeah, no. So the Martin Cabral really, like we said, dominated the headlines a little bit, but it was actually kind of a happy ending, if you will, right? Martin didn't win. A lot of people didn't want to see him win. Instead, Chris Brewer, who a lot of people did want to see, took it down. Now, it was, I don't know how many episodes ago, but one of the topips on the Calling the Clock was Chris Brewer's
run bad.
Yeah, run bad. Yeah. And clearly not anymore.
He cuts off the mullet and he just couldn't win until now.
In the last hand, the way he won it too, I think it was, did he have ace-6 against ace-king or something? Anyways, he made a straight or something like that. He got lucky.
Yeah.
And so I think that puts to bed the Chris Brewer run bad, and he's winning the biggest buy-in of the summer for $5.3 million. And as we said, his first bracelet, which is exciting. So he takes his name off the best without a bracelet list, falls in the footsteps. Jerry Wong was another guy. Ike Haxton that won one earlier this summer too. So a lot of people getting there first.
The best was just how emotional he was. Like, I mean, you could tell how much that meant to him. You could tell. He jumps out of his seat. Mm-hmm. He runs over to his rail, and there's a picture that Haley got, or I think it's Haley's picture, where his arms are wide open. He's like, ah! He's just so happy. And I mean, there are people in that who play those high rollers who just don't show those emotions at all.
Right.
I mean, it's wins, losses. They understand the variance of everything. But for Chris, I think this is just a monkey on his back that he was just waiting. He's won before so many things at PokerGo Studio, etc. It's not like he's never won a big event before, but this is his first bracelets, and it's definitely not going to be his last. I mean, he's here to stay. It feels like. So I'm really happy for him.
And kudos to him in the way he behaved at that final table with Martin Cabral doing his antics. I think Chris Brewer was the one who handled it the best. He kind of rolled with it, didn't let it get under his skin, and ended up going on to keep his composure and win this tournament heads up against Artur Matarosian.
He still needs to grow the mullet back, though. Right?
He starts now.
Yeah, now grow back. Cool. Okay. So let's talk about Jungleman. He's wearing the T800. If you're not familiar, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's wearing that damaged Terminator face.
So I got a heads up.
Stuff.
I got an email from the woman who kind of manages him and sometimes hooks us up with stories. And she said, hey, he's going to be coming in costume again. Do you want to send some people over to where he's going to have his makeup done? Nice. So we did. We sent Lara Nisi and the cameraman over there. We didn't know what his outfit was going to be. Okay. And as you said, he comes as the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 2 guy. And it actually looks pretty damn good.
Why do you say Terminator 2? It's also Terminator 1.
Well, yes, but I think this is his look from Terminator 2, right?
See, this just shows Chad has not watched enough Terminator movies.
Not, at least not the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it. It's just not as good. It's T2.
Even our article, I remember seeing one of the paragraphs like, from 1992. I'm like, no, that's wrong. It was from the 80s. It was my first movie. My parents took me to the drive-in when I was like 3 years old.
But does he dress like this in the leather thing? Because I remember in Terminator 2, he arrives and he's, let's not get into movie talk. We got to talk Jungleman because he's going for he was going for his third straight
and
PPC
here's
title.
why we can keep talking about Terminator, because he's already out.
Well, that's true. He busted. Yeah, he busted on day 2. Made a adamant attempt, I guess.
Absolutely.
But
unfortunately, the battery ran out. Because the robot bullshit. It's over.
It was cool to see him though, and he did a video, where he says he's back to take on the $50,000 Poker Players Championship. Does the whole hasta la vista. I got to give Jungleman credit. Like when he commits to a costume or a gimmick, he really goes for it. He lives it throughout the tournament. It's not like he just comes in, shows up, and then is back to his normal self. Like he plays the tournament as the character he's dressed as, which is I think pretty funny.
He was dropping chips very robotically. It was so goofy. No, Jungleman's great, man. I think that, and especially bring it to like the biggest buy-in of the WSOP. Like, come on. Yeah. How cool is that? How fun.
And this is going to roll into the next one because he ended up eliminating, I think, Chris Moneymaker, or took most of his chips.
Ding, ding, ding. That's right. Chris Moneymaker is our next topic. Moneymaker makes his first appearance at the 2023 WSOP at the Poker Players Championship. And unfortunately, a certain robot, Dan Cates,
he was terminated.
Took all of his chips. That's right, exactly.
Chris Moneymaker above your shoulder over there on the poster.
That's right. Yeah, what's up, Chris? Man, I've been a fan of Chris for years and years, dude. I mean, obviously, I met him at Run It Up Reno where he came and he was part of our auction to play in the tag team event. He, Chris is so good. So I'm unfortunately, he just has not been able to play the WSP because of family. His kids are growing up. And he loves his children and he just wants to spend time at home. And what that means is like this time, this WSOP is not a time really for parents because, we've heard from Mercier, from others, like, it's just so hard with children. And Chris has said, like, he really wants to win a second bracelet. We were on the phone talking a few months ago, and he just told me how badly he wants to win a bracelet this summer because it's been 20 years. But at the same time, his family is so much more important.
Right.
And so I love that from Chris. He posted a tweet today, a picture of him with his disheveled hair, face, and we'll throw up here for you guys. Face of a guy who busted a 50K, a 3K, and a 1,500 yesterday, and on his way to play a 500 today. The $500 freeze out is going to make massive lines, and Moneymaker is going to be in that field, and I love it.
I think the 50K Poker Players Championship for Moneymaker very well may be the biggest buy-in he's ever played.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like he said, it was a bucket list item, which I think is great for him to take the time to go play it because it is a bucket list item for a lot of players. I know Matt Vengren is another one who got in for the first time ever, and it's an event I think I dream of playing it one day if I'd be able to sit down and go up against the best in the game.
Yeah.
I give Chris a lot of credit because he's primarily a no-limit hold'em player, right? That's what we know. So to go in and play the 9-game mix with these guys, I think that was pretty awesome. And it
he said
fun.
Omaha and the studs he's been playing and practicing, so he felt like he had a shot. Yeah. But unfortunately, ding, ding, it's over. All right, Benny Glaser. Oh, I love this, dude. I'm a big Benny fan. Benny and I rode in an Uber together when I went to in October to the EPT. Mm-hmm. We took an Uber from the airport, got stuck in traffic for like an hour and a half together, and sat and chatted. I'm such a big Benny Glaser fan. So to see him win his 5th joining the 5-timers club, and he's amongst four people who've won their 5th bracelet this summer. How insane is this? But hey, he takes it down in a tournament he's very familiar with when he won a bracelet in before, the Deuce to 7 Triple Draw Championship, 10K buy-in. Benny Glaser sits about the top with a 311K and his 5th bracelet. So good.
Yeah, it seems like almost commonplace that Benny Glaser is going to be winning something, whether it's a WSOP bracelet, whether it's an online scoop title. Didn't he finish runner-up in the WPT World Championship last December? He just is a crusher.
Gosh.
I think so, to Elliot Houdon. Regardless, and he's still in the 50K Poker Players Championship right now, 28 players left. He's the short stack. But to speak to, like you said, how much he's beloved, I remember last year he was in the Poker Players Championship. I believe he finished 4th, busted that tournament, which has to be very demoralizing, but still made his way over to the MGM, which is where a lot of the Poker News crew was, to celebrate a birthday for one of the members of the poker media. So I just thought that was a very classy move to go bust this huge tournament, probably his favorite of the year, but still come over there. And it's just great to see him in winning number 5. It's just incredible. He's one of the best players in the world, hands down. He can do it live. He can do it online, mixed games, no limit hold'em, whatever it is.
But mixed games are where I'm most scared of him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When I see him jump into a low stakes field, I'm like, okay, just don't reg Jesse, because Benny's in it, and Benny's the crusher. Congratulations, Benny. So happy to see it. I mean, we might see a 6th. He's not done. He's not done this summer.
Yeah, plenty of time.
For damn sure. All right. Johnny Chan, John the Man. Oh, no 11th bracelet. So, I mean, how sick is that he made a deep run? The poker community loves and hates Johnny Chan, Chad Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, we're always talking about Phil Hellmuth, making a bracelet run, or maybe Phil Ivey. Remember, it was Johnny Chan, Phil Ivey, and Doyle Brunson tied at 10 bracelets. Hellmuth was there at one point, but obviously took a big lead. But those other 3 have been stuck at number 10 for quite a while now. And of course, we lost Doyle. So you got Johnny Chan and Phil Ivey. Yep. Johnny Chan focuses mainly on cash games. Yeah. He rarely plays in poker tournaments. You'll see him in the main event, maybe a few others here and there. And one of them he couldn't resist, apparently, was this new event at the WSOP, event number 41, $1,500 Big O. Now, do you know about what Big O was about?
Yeah, 5-card, high-low? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he
Must Play 2, it's Omaha, yeah.
And it was a big turnout, and he made a deep run, and it was pretty exciting. Like, holy shit, Johnny Chan the Master.
Yeah, 14th place is his finish. I got to meet Johnny Chan last year at the Hall of Fame, and what I've heard from people is that he's just short. He's not big into talking to people, and it makes sense, and so he comes across kind of like an asshole. But I had the best fucking conversation with him, Chad. Found out that we both went to the same. We both from Houston, Texas. We both went to the same high school, Lamar High School, and me just talking to him about that, he just lit up like a Christmas tree. Like I'm a Johnny Chan fan. And so seeing this, I mean, I'm a big Rounders fan too.
Yep.
It's unfortunately he didn't make that deep run for that 11th bracelet, but he's still here all summer. I think we'll see him definitely in the Hall of Fame bounty event, and the main event. It feels like he always plays the main event too. So
I actually was texting with him even before this deep run, saying, "Hey, let's catch up. Let's do an interview."
Yeah.
And he's always been very responsive. And he said, "Yeah, I'm here playing cash in the King's Lounge. Come by whenever you want." And hopefully we'll get him maybe on the show at some point. That would be great to have Johnny Chan on the show.
I would say yes, absolutely. All right, a friend of Chad, someone I'm familiar with too, Gershon. What's it? How do you pronounce it?
Gershon Distenfeld.
Distenfeld.
Yeah. Now, I got to know Gershon back in 2020 when he final tabled the WSOP hybrid event. Remember, that was the COVID year, so they started online, and then they brought them to Las Vegas, just the final table live.
The global and the US side to play their final tables live, and then the heads up between the two winners for the bracelet. That's
right. And it was at, you remember that was the year Upeshka de Silva tested positive for COVID, and so got yanked and automatically finished in 9th place.
Yep.
Gershon was short stacked, ended up busting in 8th place right after. He was getting coaching from Jonathan Little back then.
Yep.
$125,000. But what made it very special is he donated it all to charity.
Yeah.
Right.
And what I love about this too is that, Chad, you and I have been working at PokerNews for a while. We've been at a lot of WSOPs, and we are two of like the very few who are there for that one, for that 2020. Today there's a lot of press, lots of media. But we were two out of like 3 people. It was like you, me, and Sarah.
Yeah.
So almost it.
And it got better because then he comes in 2021, the last year at the Rio.
Yes.
Right? And he enters event number, whatever it was, event number 48, $1,500 no limit hold'em shootout. Win your table, go to the next round, the table.
That's right.
He won it all.
Yes.
Won a bracelet.
Got his bracelet. Boom.
Yeah, $204,000. You know what he did with
Donated it all.
Donated it all to charity.
So he makes a deep run in the Monster Stack?
This year's Monster Stack, yeah.
And he makes it day 3. I think he finished 93rd.
He did, yeah. So it was exciting because he told me even before the tournament began, he said, hey, Chad, I'm playing again. Guess what? It's all going to go to charity once again. And so I like to keep an eye on it. I think it's great. I think it's one of the most generous people I've ever met.
It doesn't get a spotlight either. I mean, how cool is that? That someone's out there playing just to give away, just to help benefit people.
And in this field, 8,317. So when he cracks the top 100, it's like, man, if he wins this, $1.1 million up top. Didn't get there. Still got $10,500 for 93rd.
Yep. Okay. Well, we got one more shot this week for another 5-timer, and that is Joe Cada. We are talking about the Monster Stack. Today is day 4. What's the number of players still in the field, Chad?
It's saying right now 43 out of the 8,317.
Yeah. So last time I checked, he's around 24th.
Yeah.
So he was sitting close to the middle when we started this podcast. I guess we're like 48 then. So yeah,
he's sitting 4th in chips right now.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. According to our live updates on PokerNews.com, he's got 21 million. So if those are up to date, he's putting himself in a position to win number 5. And what would that be? How many players have won their 5th bracelet already this summer in the first 2.5 weeks?
4. We got Glaser, we got Yoon, we have REA, and we have, of course, I'm always going to forget one. Who's the other person?
Oh, I'm gonna have to let me do a
Angry John.
Yeah, John Monet.
Yeah, there we go.
Like that's insane.
Yeah.
These guys are winning. And then Sean Deeb, of course, won from 5 to 6.
Yep.
That's crazy. And then, as we mentioned already, some of the big names winning their first ones. Like this is the year of the
just
name
a crazy
pro,
year.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Where's Helmuth Negroni though?
We ask that every week.
We sure do, man. But I mean, so there's a good chance that Joe Cada could be our 5th 5-timer of the summer. I mean, I basically feel like we have to that he's going to win it. I mean, at this point,
he knows how to run deep. Obviously, winning the main event in 2009, I think it was, right? And then he won. What was it? His 2018, the Closer. That was another massive field, $1,500 buy-in event, and he won that.
They won 2 in 2021.
He won. So he's 2009 main event, 2014 10K 6 Max Championship.
Yeah.
2018 the $3,000 no limit hold'em shootout. And then 2018, the Closer.
So he won 2. Yeah, he won 2. I know there's a year where he won 2. 18, not 21.
So it was, it was 5 years from 2009 to 14 before he won again.
Yeah.
4 years then to 18. We're on 5 years now. So maybe 5 years.
Good luck,
5
Joe.
bracelets.
Good luck, Joe. Good luck, Joe from PokerNews team. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our Calling the Clock segment. It's time to bring in not 1, not 2, no, 2 guests. That's right. WPT ambassadors. Let's bring them in. Andrew Neeme and Bradley Owen. All right. It's time for our guests. And I am so excited. I've known these two for at least, 4 or 5 years, I think.
Probably more.
Yeah, it feels like it, right? I mean, it feels like forever. I've known them since the old days at Ride Up. I'm so excited to bring to you guys 2 of the most successful and most talented YouTube poker vloggers out there. They're amazing. They're hilarious. They're fun. And we get to sit with them for a few minutes. It is Andrew Neeme and Brad Owen. Welcome, boys.
Hello.
Right. Hello. And WPT ambassadors as well. I didn't mention that.
That's right. Yeah, that may be the most important thing.
Gotta shout them out.
Right?
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's been over a year now. You guys have been with WPT.
That's right. Just a little bit over a year.
Yeah, pretty
time.
sick.
Time flies. Actually, it's crazy. We've already been with them a year, but
it is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys think when you first started your vlog so many years ago that it could lead to being partnered with a company like the World Poker Tour?
I would say that it was like best ever case scenario. I didn't think that it was for sure going to happen. I was hopeful that this vlog thing might get some traction. I mean, back in the day when I was starting, I remember asking my friends if they would subscribe to the channel, so it wasn't at 0. Right. So to think that yes, it was definitely going to lead to a WPT partnership, definitely not. But I saw some people doing some things on YouTube outside of poker, and they were getting traction and leading to partnerships and stuff like that. So I guess anything is possible out there in the content world.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so few sponsorship opportunities really within poker. So to partner up with, in my mind, the most reputable one over the last 20 plus years, pretty special.
Yeah.
You guys have traveled a lot with the WPT recently. I've seen you over in Asia and whatnot. You got a favorite stop that you've been to recently?
recently. Let's see. There's been so
Probably
many
in the last year or two.
In the last since April, since you signed a contract.
I think to go and play in Australia was something that was really, really cool for both of us. It was my first time in Australia. Was it yours as well, Andrew, or had you been there
First
before?
time in Australia with WPT, yeah.
So we did some skydiving out there, went on some jet skis, and the poker was great. And just really some of the most fun people that I've played poker with over the last several years. So that was a special one.
Yeah, each sorry to cut you off here, but like each time you travel somewhere, a lot of times, like, you know, there might be some intricacies between the poker rooms and casinos themselves, but oftentimes, you know, it's like, assuming the event is run well, which seems to be the case everywhere with WPT, a lot of times, you know, it's like poker tables, it's cards, it's the same game. But it's like the cities that are around these casinos and stuff. It's awesome just exploring them. So like, yeah, Cambodia was an awesome, pretty unique adventure. Aside from getting there and back, which takes 25 hours each way, but once you're there, it's really cool. And yeah, Australia was awesome. So yeah, like just getting to go to all these different places around the game of poker is pretty special. And we have to pinch ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, right. You know, as you guys were growing in the content realm, I guess, one thing that I loved the most was following your Meetup Games. Like the mugs were huge. I think that was what really, in my opinion, set you guys apart from other content creators was your just desire to get close to your communities, your audiences, and really get to know them as people and bring them into your content as well. And it's one thing I just fell in love with early on. Do you remember when you guys were really in the heat of all that? Like, what was the farthest someone traveled to come meet you guys?
There's been a lot of people who have traveled from other continents. We had someone come from Singapore to Northern California for our great Meetup game. I think that guy has actually been to a couple Meetup games now. But yeah, I mean, people are willing to travel basically from all over the world.
Yeah, we had somebody come from Southern California to go to London when we did our event there. So, awesome. I mean, yeah, it's tough to beat these distances that we mentioned, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you guys ever miss the old days, right? You're traveling so much with the WPT and doing all this kind of bigger event stuff. Do you ever miss the old days where you just went into a random card room and
Phil Westgate,
and played, and filmed the vlog?
I mean, there's definitely been times where like I'm burnt out on like editing and stuff like that. But, you know, if you were to say like, do you miss the old days? That means like just going back to like just grinding 2.5 and like trying to, you know, grind out a rent payment.
Right.
And not having all of the other things that we have with it, which is just like, there's just no way, you know, they would ever trade any of this in. So yeah, I mean, like it definitely, you know, the content creation can be stressful at times for sure. You know, you pile on like the competitiveness of poker, having those two things, trying to do those simultaneously can be a lot sometimes, but no, definitely wouldn't trade it all in.
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I miss it, but I do look back on those times with fond memories, you know, like going to Seattle at a place called like Redbird's Hideaway and just these very unique hole in the wall places where it's very similar to like a band's trajectory where we're trying to like fill these small poker rooms that no one's ever heard of and then gradually go to bigger and bigger venues, you know? So yeah, it's cool to look back on some of those old videos occasionally and just think about some of those times where Andrew and I were doing these gigs for like free airfare and stuff.
Yeah. Sharing a hotel room. We don't have to share a hotel room anymore. We finally made it.
Yes.
But what about like before the content? Like, how do you feel about like
that time? Those days, it was just so stressful for me all the time that I don't miss that, but I'm glad that I went through it.
Yeah. Like I didn't start making videos until 8 years of playing full time. So I think in order for the videos to like really feel real, like had to put in all those hours and years of grinding and like living in Las Vegas and like finding my favorite bars that I like to go to and being able to share those in the content. So it was a necessary path, like Brad said.
Right.
When I went to one of your Meetup Games at Resorts World, I guess it was in 2021, maybe 2022, but I met a guy on my left who had never played poker, I think, live before, and started watching y'all's content during COVID. And that's what got him into poker. Like you guys were the rounders or the moneymaker for him. what, I mean, knowing that, and like, as you guys grow with WPT opportunities and things like in the lodge as well, like what, I mean, you guys really have like you guys are meaningful to poker. I mean, what does that mean to you guys, and what kind of pressure does that put on you?
It's kind of hard to fathom, you know, like you definitely get so bogged down in the day to day that you can lose sight of the big picture a lot of the time. But yeah, it's awesome. Like people will send messages like that. Like there's a guy who played his first poker, I think, at least his first live poker, I think it was his first ever live poker session at the Meetup Game in Grayton in Northern California. And so yeah, there's stories like that. He had a great time. He still hops into the chat box when I do live streams and stuff like that. And so it's it's cool. I mean, it's always like, it's like I said, there's so much like go a lot of the time, you know, where like gotta play the next event, gotta play the next session, gotta get the next video out, all these things. But yeah, when you take some time to think about it, it's always really fun.
Yeah, I not too much more to add to that, but it is interesting because there's still guys that I look up to and get excited about seeing. You know, it's fun to see Ivey and Helmuth and Negreanu and stuff around at the WSOP. And there's a whole generation that we've kind of reached that really, you know, isn't super familiar with those guys, but they know Rampage and they know Andrew and Mariano and Jamin and stuff. Yep. And so yeah, it is kind of interesting to be part of that and to be, the face of this new audience, this new generation of viewers.
You know what's funny is even like some of these new content creators don't know who those old guys are. Like, I mentioned I was hanging out with Mariano last night. I mentioned Sam Farha. And he's like, who is Sam Farha again? He like had to take some time to think about it. I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
We have an editor on our team who had never watched Rounders before. He said, Jesse, who do you think is the most popular fictional poker player? I'm like, oh, Mike McDermott. It's like, who is that? What's that from? Is that a cartoon? I'm like, you're fired. You just have to leave now. You're no longer part of our team.
So Rounders was the first rated R movie that I ever saw in theaters. I believe I was 9. I think it came out in 97.
Yeah.
And my mom had a bunco night and my dad took my brother and I out and he said, don't tell your mom we're going to watch this. And so went to the theater, watched it. And I didn't even realize until like 5 years ago, I was like, yeah, that may have had a bigger impact on my life than we could have ever realized.
No joke, right? Okay, so it's been a big year since you signed your deal with WT. You've had both the lodge come out really and then grow and grow. You've had some losses on stream, big ones.
Not sure what you're referring to.
Yeah, of course you would. How could you? If you could put the last 12 to 16, 18 months together in just a few words, 3 or 4 words, how would you do that?
Geez, extremely volatile but it's been like just overwhelming, kind of on both ends of it for me, with just massive losses, like you mentioned in February at the lodge on stream, just 3 days in a row of getting my face kicked in, and really a handful of sessions leading up to that where I wasn't running well. So I went into these huge games not really being in the best mindset and knowing that I wasn't in the best mindset, but we're only going to have our stream relaunch once at the lodge, and I wanted to be a part of it. And, unfortunately got wrecked, but to be able to bounce back over the last several months after that, I had some tournament scores in Cambodia even, and then the final table at Gardens, and made a WSOP online final table a couple weeks after that. So it's just been really, really swingy. It's been fun. It's been exciting. Makes my job easier as a content creator when there's stuff like that going on, but also my life, I wish it was just a little bit more steady.
Yeah. To way more than 3 or 4 words.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Brad. Way more. I just lost count. Andrew?
He pretty much nailed it. I mean, I would say like maybe boundary pushing. You want me to expand?
That's great. No,
or do you want to cut me off there?
You're fucking great. That's perfect.
But yeah, like going to all these new locations. Like I've been to Cambodia. I went to Cambodia twice in 8 months, which is didn't see that coming. And then like just playing in these massive games at the lodge. Like Brad said, like we want to be a part of it. We want to help the team and be a part of the content there. We're the faces of the brand of the card room down there, and so we can't just like sit out the big games. We need to be in the mix, and it's much better for the reality's sake if we take a sizable chunk of the action too. So got to hop in there and ride the waves, basically.
Yeah.
It was about 7 months ago that the World Poker Tour had the World Championship at the Win. It was the event of the year, and it kicked off in a big way when you guys had a meetup game. It was attended by the late Doyle Brunson. Phil Ivey was there. What was that whole experience like to you, and do you have any good stories involving Phil or Doyle?
Yeah, I mean, that was like sort of, I would say, like the culmination of this idea, this concept of the meetup game. And to see all those faces in there in the same room, essentially playing 1-3 and 2-5, legends, absolute legends of the game, like doesn't get any more legendary than Doyle, of course. Right. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of the best memories that I have for like the rest of my, poker playing career and my life, basically, as far as his work goes. Just getting to sit next to Doyle in a 2-5 game for about an hour, him on my direct left, I said in the vlog that I made out of that, I was like, a lot of times in these meetup games, I play really stupid. It's just like, this is not my best poker. But like with him sitting on my left, I couldn't do that. I wasn't going to just pressure. Like show down like some garbage hand and have him look at me and be like, say something. So yeah, it was just amazing. And, I feel very, very lucky to be able to, have that tiny bit of time with him at the 2-5 table.
Yeah, that really was the most special meetup game. And Patrick Antonius, Steve Aoki, the whole WPT family came out, Adam Pliska and Tony and Lynn. I think Lynn was really mixing it up in those meetup games.
Yeah, she ran it up.
But yeah, so that was just really, really special. And to have it at, Win Encore as well. The nicest property we've ever had a meetup game. And just that entire World Championship was special for both Andrew and me.
I mean, we're halfway back to doing it again. They're having the World Championship in December back at the Win. Are you guys excited about that? And like, how could you possibly make it bigger and better this year?
Yeah, they keep it's kind of funny. Like we're amongst the last to hear things from the World Poker Tour, which is kind of odd considering we're partners. But they recently dropped some news. We can only like tease so much of stuff that hasn't been announced yet. But it's like it's gonna be better. It's gonna be even more exciting. And this unfortunately, I wish I could say more about it. But yeah, it's just like here we're in a room right now at the the Paris Horseshoe properties, and that's, I feel like, on average, like pretty solid upgrade from the Rio, and just feels a little bit nicer over here. Yeah. But yeah, like Brad says, like it's tough to beat the Win at anything as far as like casino hotel properties go. And it's just awesome to be there. So yeah, expect bigger and better for this time around.
I've heard a little bit about WPT Voyages. These like big ships with poker players on them. Mm-hmm. Can you guys tell me a little about what you guys are going to do with that?
Yes, the Virgin Voyage.
Hey-o.
WPT event.
Andrew and I went on this kind of sample Virgin Voyage with WPT back in November, and just a really cool
voyage
experience. Yeah, honestly, it was the best voyage I'd ever been on.
Easily one of the best voyages.
Are you guys getting paid for every time you say voyage? Is that what's happening here? Because I can say voyage too. Do I get a bag as well?
Great voyage.
My goodness.
I think Virgin appreciates the alliteration.
So yeah, that was like a really cool tester voyage.
Yeah.
And to throw a microphone.
For those that don't know, it's going to be a WPT main event on the high seas. And what is it, in March or April of this coming year?
I believe, I think it's sometime around the end of March 31st. I think, say like April 6th or something like that. Sounds about right. But yeah, we just had a great time on the voyage, and great entertainment. I think for this one, it's going to be a lot more special as well. I mean, the destinations were great that Andrew and I went to, but this one's going to be special because the entire ship is going to be poker players. So I believe there's 1,400 cabins, 80 poker tables, 1.5 million in guarantees. There's going to be a WPT main tour series tournament. So you have a chance to be on the Mike Sexton Champions Cup, which is something that's I'm certainly after at this moment. And then I think there might even be like a 25K high roller event. So it's going to be something that's pretty special.
When you're on international waters, can you like play different games that are like kind of pirated versions. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just wanted you guys to say
Was that a
Voyage
pun?
again.
Or was
I just wanted you to say Voyage again. I was trying to find a way, and it just really didn't get there. So we wish you a safe and healthy voyage.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you can come on the voyage as well.
My wife doesn't let me leave the state. She
No?
doesn't-
Okay.
Okay, locked in. Yeah.
All right, see you there, Chad.
Think
Well,
so.
yeah, I hope so. But before we let you guys go, we have a little something fun planned. I think, right, Jesse?
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, let's do it. So Jesse and I took time before this interview
We did,
to go
yeah.
back and watch your guys' first ever vlogs.
Sorry that you had to do that.
It was fun.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Tell them what we're going to do, Jesse.
We're going to play a little game between you two gentlemen, see if you guys can guess which quotes came out of which vlog. It's gonna
all right,
be,
like mine or his?
yeah.
Okay.
Brad and Andrew playing. Is it Brad or is it Andrew?
Should we switch off then, I guess?
Yeah,
Or-
so
Yeah,
we'll,
okay.
we'll start with Brad, and we're just going to randomly pick one, read it, and then you say if you think you said it or if Andrew said it.
Should
if
be-
you
should
get
be
it, you
pretty
get
easy.
the point.
So yeah, if you get it, then you get the point, and we're gonna see who,
Okay,
gets the,
okay.
who gets the best score. Chad's
How
keeping.
many times do you think you've watched your very first vlog?
The very first one, probably maybe like 10.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go.
do
First
it.
quote. I don't really know how it will all end up or how many of these I will do.
Andrew. It's got to be Andrew.
Correct.
Yeah, all right, one for Andrew.
It just seems like Andrew, it seems like his personality, just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how many more of these.
Yeah, it's just endless questions, just nonstop questions in my head.
All right, Andrew, this one's for you. I'm really not super concerned with the wins and losses, like the dollar amount when I'm making these videos.
Me.
That is you.
Yeah.
All right, Brad. We finished the session up 242, something like that.
I'll go with Andrew.
It's me.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, your
You
session
just
did
have
not
a-
end
you
up
just have
anywhere
a
near
cup
that. I
full
don't
of Andrew quotes in there.
think. Basically, yes, it's all Andrew.
All right.
Did you win your first vlog?
I won $10.
All right, back to Andrew. We're on the list waiting for a seat in the 1-2 game.
Brad.
That was you.
Was it?
That
Was
was
it?
you.
Oh, I would've-
You're
I
on the
would've
list
thought that
of the
was-
Golden Nugget.
Yeah, yeah.
Of all
Okay.
places.
Makes sense.
Are you keeping track?
I am, yeah.
Good. Okay. All right, here we go. I decided to bet small for value. I bet $11.
I will go with me.
Correct.
Wow. All right. I think Brad's winning right now 4-1.
Oh, shit. Andrew.
4-1. Damn. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was that bad.
All right. See if I even feel like doing another one of these videos after today.
Me?
That is you.
Yeah.
All of yours are very much like, fuck this, man. I don't know if I'm going to play anymore. Like,
There we go. If you happen to learn something, that's awesome too.
I think that's me.
No.
No?
Oh, that's Andrew.
Huh.
Andrew. You weren't trying to teach anybody, you think?
No.
All right,
I
Chances
wasn't.
are low.
I'm seeing 4-3 right now on Brad, but Andrew making a comeback. All right, here's the next one. I'm not sure if I'll be playing differently because I'll be videotaping my hands.
Brad.
That is Brad. Tied up.
Yep.
This is an easy one.
Videotaping. I would
Actually-
never say videotaping.
Go ahead and say no to that one. That one's too easy.
I remember being
say
so
filming.
nervous the first, just the first couple minutes I started filming anything.
Sure.
The first 2 minutes of my entire first vlog took me like 2 hours to make. And it was just me talking to a camera.
Oh, man.
I had to kick my wife, Boosie, out of the apartment and be like, I can't have you around while I'm trying to film this intro.
Yeah.
So good. Here we go. I'm really new at this, so this is super awkward, but I don't know. It's kind of fun too.
Me.
Yeah.
That was from Brad.
That was from
no,
me?
it was your
No, no.
question.
Oh, I was
but
going to say
asked
Andrew though
guesses,
too.
So,
Eat
okay,
shit.
well,
I was going
I
to
guess
say.
that's
Just, you can just wipe it.
All right,
Almost
this
done.
one's back to
It was to me.
to Andrew.
Ash. Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Okay.
All right, here you go. Oh, are these rockets? Those can't be rockets. Blank doesn't get rockets. Oh, but he does get rockets.
Couldn't be more obvious that it's Brad.
That is Brad.
All right. Here we go. We booked a win in the first vlog. So that's pretty cool.
Whose turn is it?
Andrew? Was that Andrew?
Correct. That is
Yeah.
Andrew.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting to the bottom of this.
Thank God.
And I have to do
Thank God.
Yeah, you guys talked a lot in these vlogs.
all right, back to Andrew. If I wasn't making a vlog and if I was trying to move up in stakes, I wouldn't just base it on whether I won or lost the previous day.
Yeah, that's me.
That is you.
All right, Brad.
Right. Because you were moving up in stakes. If you got the win, you're going to.
That was the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I win, move up a stake, lose, move back down.
There you go. All right, here we go. Gotta go grab a quick beer. Let's go do that.
Andrew.
Correct.
Wow. All right, let's do it just a couple more each. How
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
please.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, here's
I like this one.
back
Too.
to Andrew. First vlogged hand, pocket sixes, raised $8. Take it down.
Brad.
Yes. The first like 4 hands were just like that. It's like, okay, raise this guy, take a look.
Well, I showed every hand for that beginning part of the session, and I would fast forward to the next deal.
Yeah.
And then I did not do that for the second vlog.
You also did like a fast forward sound effect.
That wasn't by choice. That was
Just sped up video.
it was just iMovie makes that noise.
Funny. I was like, okay, so you
I
added
didn't know how to get rid of
It
it.
was like a VHS tape. Is that like
Mine had that as well, but I like lowered the audio pitch.
Did you? Yeah.
That's so good.
All right, I got it tied right now, 7-7.
Okay,
Dead
ready?
heat.
All right. I don't believe in superstitions, but I do believe in karma.
Brad.
That was me. Is it my question?
Yeah, it was your question.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I'm always asking you. I'm
Sorry, let me
It's
ask.
okay.
I got to grab one of these. Put that
You
one right
even
here.
like picked up trash on the way in.
That's right. I did that
We both
on
knew
the
this,
way to this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I still do that all the time, man.
Nice.
We're what, only 2 more? You got 2 more there?
Yeah,
I
I've
got
been
one
doing
here, so
that
3.
More in like restrooms now that we were part of the lodge, because I see people like leave paper
All the
towel
time,
on the
yeah.
restroom
Oh.
floor.
But I just did that in the restroom before I got here.
Too good.
All right, this one's for Andrew. So I just spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to do an intro for this thing.
Yeah, it's me.
That is you.
Okay. Brad, here we go. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I know it was really long.
Thanks for watching the video. I know it was really long. I feel like that's probably me. Is it me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, what he said to you.
Oh, so I
What's
guess
the score? What's the score?
it's tied up. It's still tied.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you have one left?
Did you know?
Yeah,
This
This
is the last
right?
one.
This is the last one.
All
Good
right.
luck, boys. Oh,
So I guess this is for Andrew
So,
to win it. He gets the last one. So
Did he get the first one?
I think we
he?
started with you. Maybe. I don't know.
it's been so
Could
long.
be.
We had so many of these.
Well, let's just say.
All
so
right, all right.
last
Last
one.
one.
Give him a
on.
hard one, Chad. Give him a hard
This is
one.
going on and on.
I am nowhere near as good as I was back then.
I am nowhere near as good as I was back then.
This is a hard one.
I feel like it's like a trick question.
Clock.
You can
No.
pass it if you want.
You know the answer?
I feel pretty confident.
I'm nowhere near as good as I was. Oh, I'll say you.
That
I think it
was
was you.
Andrew, but it was a bit of a trick because you said it in regard to your skateboarding.
Oh,
And that first vlog.
That makes sense.
Of course. All right.
Yeah, that was a good last one.
Congratulations.
I was.
You win.
No kidding.
Well, gentlemen, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us here on the Chad and Jesse Poker Show.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to that WPT World Championship, the WPT Voyages, and just seeing what you guys can do here at the World Series of Poker.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I guess real quick, just do you have any plans for this rest of the summer? Like bracelets you're chasing or anything that you want to?
Try to keep tilt as low as possible.
I'm just gonna kind of get ready for that voyage
Can't forget the
Beautiful.
voyage.
mentally.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thanks again to Brad and Andrew, and thanks to Level 9 for producing our podcast. We're big fans of those guys. So tune in next week for our next episode of the Chad and Jesse Poker Show. Thanks for watching.